Diddy update. The fall of Diddy on ID has just came out, and there is such mind-blowing evidence that could literally blow this case. Philip Hines was Diddy's actual assistant, his everyday, day-to-day schedule, even getting food, getting draws. I mean, Philip Hines was the second person in charge. The amount of evidence that Philip Hines had can literally blow this case. Now, it is said that he was responsible for Diddy's day-to-day life. Not only that, he also had details on substances used throughout the time that he has worked for Diddy. He worked for Diddy for 3 years, and what we know as, what did we call it? Child, I forgot what we called it. Whatever we called it. He only knew the little get-togethers as Wild King Nights. Now, there was a lawsuit filed, I believe it was back in December, from his assistant. Now, the assistant is alleging that what the role that he played was picking up food, laying out this man's clothes, going to pick up his clothes, running his personal errands. He was available on call during the freak-offs / King Nights. He also did cleanups for the hotel room during before the freak-offs and the breakdowns. The cleanup, setup. This man was doing a whole production. P. Diddy was doing a full production. These freak-offs, these Diddy Nights, King Nights, a full production, y'all. They had a setup, a cleanup. He was running a production, like a whole movie TV show. The former assistant also said that he had to actually book the hotel rooms in his name for the Diddy freak-offs, the King Nights, in which they called it. He also said that he was the one to get all of the substances, and y'all, this is multiple substances. We ain't talking about one little Mary. Y'all know what that is. Substances. Okay, catch it. He also said that he had to hide personal activities in which the diddler was engaging in from certain family members, and it was actually his job to delete and hide anything as it relates to what is it called, technology, videos, anything like that. He was the person that was supposed to get rid of all of the evidence. The reason why I said that he can literally blow this case for sure is because he outlined all of the supplies that was used for the King Nights / whatever else they want to call it. He also had multiple voice memos from the diddler voice himself. We heard it, okay, saying this is what I want you to get, do this, do that. He had the full evidence, y'all. Now, the list that he went on to say, red lights, I told y'all this was a full production, child. Ice buckets, I don't know what that's used for, alcohol, substances, baby oil, towels, and a whole bunch of other crap that I'm like, what is that? Christina Quorum is going down with him. I told y'all she would. She was implicated and mentioned in this, and all of this is alleged until we know they all go to court. But we already know the tea, right? Allege. But Christina Quorum was also found. He had records of her texting him, get this, do this, like she was helping manage the whole situation shit. Now, he also said that he had to be on call for these special King Nights in order if they ran out of something or if they needed something. And get this, he said that he would often run out of baby oil. At one point, I believe he was called into one of the situationships, and to this day, he cannot stomach baby oil, child. But this is what got me. He said that these will last like for 24 hours up to multiple days. What are you doing for productions multiple days? This is all I got for now, y'all. But child, this was a 4-part docuseries on ID. But baby, listen, he also talked about that there was young women as young as 20 years old. He even went on into that, and a variety of narcotics. I'm so baffled by this. And he talks about the extent of darkness in which the diddler was actually operating in. I'll turn this corner real quick, because what people don't realize is the extent of how people operate. We are spiritual beings, which means a lot of times we are operating out of a specific underlying spirit. And I've done deep dives on the diddler before. I've talked about the tattoo, the major tattoo that he had, filling his whole entire back. But not only that, with a level of darkness like that, there is a full entity that is operating in a person, and it's more than just darkness. It is levels of demonic, demonic influence that is operating within this person, that is sometimes people don't even know why they're doing what they are doing, but they are under such a demonic influence that is causing them to take over their mind and take over their body. That is the power of demonic influence. Last thing, when we yield to the kingdom of darkness with whatever it is, whatever sin it is, we are giving that demonic influence access to our lives, and they have the right to be able to operate through your body, through your mouth, through any of your body. They are able to operate according to whatever they desire for you to do. So when I look at Diddy, I look at it as more of a spiritual thing, not natural. And I know people be like, well, he hurt so many people, he's doing this. Yeah, but it was a demonic influence. Whatever you yield to, whatever that sin is, and you open yourself up to it, it could be sexual immorality. That is the spirit that will operate in you, and you will give it full reign to do whatever the heck it tells you to do, clearly. Remember this, Satan glorifies in sin. So, and one thing about sin grows. I'm sure he didn't start off having these king nights. I'm sorry. Full productions, okay? I'm sure it didn't start out with no full productions. It probably started out with small things, but the more we open ourselves up to Satan and the darkness, sin will grow. So that's what we have here. I pray that he's in wherever he is locked up, and there he has a repentant heart, because to me this is a form of God giving him grace for him to come to him and to repent. Sir, I need you to repent at this point. Repent, sir. Repent.
So we have some really big news in the Diddy case, where he was just slapped with another indictment. This isn't a civil case. This is another new federal indictment. Now, in the original indictment, he was hit with racketeering, conspiracy, trafficking, and transportation to engage in, paid. And in that federal indictment, there was just one female victim. Well, I will tell you this. The charges themselves have not changed, but the indictment now includes 3 female victims. Also, while I was recording this, I just got an update on the Diddy list, and I will come back to that momentarily. So what do these additional victims mean for the case against Diddy? Well, first of all, it's an increased credibility of the allegations, showing that, hey, we have a pattern here. It's not just one person. It's not just an isolated incident. At the same time, builds a stronger case for racketeering for the exact same reason that, hey, this isn't isolated. This is an absolute pattern of abuse, and you can see it here because we have multiple victims experiencing the same thing. As far as juries go, it means that they're going to be more likely to believe 3 victims versus 1. You also have a potential harsher sentencing if he's convicted, and it becomes harder to defend against 3 victims in this as opposed to just the 1. Essentially, it's now going to be a lot harder for Diddy to argue that these accusations are false or isolated, and it drastically increases his legal risks. Now, regarding the news that popped up while I was recording this regarding the Diddy list, apparently Ted Cruz is putting a lot of pressure on Donald Trump to release that list and show people who's on it, putting all of the celebrity friends on notice. Anyways, this is the biggest update we've had regarding Diddy in a while. Make sure to hit that follow button if you don't already, so you can stay up to date on this case, because this is one we are following closely. Drop your thoughts about these latest accusations in the comments, and of course, if you don't already, go there and follow me elsewhere in case this all goes away.
Y'all, I'm traumatized. I watched the fall of Diddy, and I'm traumatized. I really, really am. There were a lot of stories from people that knew him, a lot of stories in graphic detail from the victims. It was way more than what was in that documentary from Peacock. HBO Max and ID, y'all took the cake with this one. Now, there was a lot to digest from the 5-part docuseries, but I really want to zone in on the interview with the assistant. That's episode 5. He told us how they're not called freak-offs. They're called Wild King Nights. Now, one of his jobs was cleanup of the Wild King Nights. he gets triggered by the smell of baby oil. That's how much baby oil was being used at these Wild King nights. Now, he did spill some tea. This is allegedly. So they were showing the text messages from the chief of staff and the assistant. And there is one specific text I need y'all to help me decode. The assistant said, "Cleanup is going to be insane." The chief of staff wrote back and said, "I call it baby oil party." Khaled voice. What are you saying? Oh, and that is a tub full of baby oil. An Astroglide. Yeah, disgusting. Now, y'all tell me what that means. I call it a baby oil party, Khaled voice. Now, to me, that sounds like DJ Khaled was at the baby oil parties at the Wild King nights. That's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like. Allegedly. That's what it sounds like. Y'all let me know if y'all feeling the same way.
Ooh, Diddy. What the hell your ass done did now? The new superseding indictment just fucking dropped. And I like it. So I'm about to tell you what's in the indictment, and y'all tell me what y'all think about it. Now, when I was first looking through it, I was like, oh, this is pretty much the same. But there's one big difference, and it's in this part of the indictment. Including, but not limited to, 3 females. Victim 1, victim 2, victim 3. See, it was only one victim in the previous indictment, and we all pretty much figured that was Cassie. So naturally, we wonder who victim 2 and 3 are. Well, it might be somebody we didn't even think was telling the truth. This one right here, and if you don't remember, it's this lady right here. And the reason I'm thinking it's her, because at first I was thinking she was lying because they said she bribed someone or some whatever. But she was on that documentary, Fall of Diddy, that just came out. And she said that her ex-boyfriend contacted her and let her know that her alleged assault had been filmed and distributed. So real quick, the assault allegedly took place at Diddy's studio when nobody was around, when she thought her ex-boyfriend was gonna be there. And allegedly it's all actually on film. And the documentary basically confirmed. Diddy cooked, it's no telling with the stories these two got. Who y'all think the other 2 victims are now? I'm out.
Please help me! Please help me!
FBI's investigation of Diddy's mansion tunnel uncovers a shocking discovery, Part 6. They made a surprising discovery. In a previous investigation, the FBI found adult toys and some torture devices in the tunnel at Diddy's mansion that may not have been intended for adults. After being investigated by Ali Carter, he claimed that the tunnels connected the school, something the FBI had not discovered. So they decided to go back and investigate the tunnel more deeply. As they entered one of the branches of the tunnel, which, as Ali Carter had said, connected to an elementary school. This discovery adds a layer of mystery to Diddy's tunnel incident, because combined with previous discoveries, Diddy seems to be doing things to minors that he shouldn't be doing. Baby oil, adult toys, children's clothing. Every clue seems to confirm the hypothesis, which is chilling. And many minors may not be at his disposal, so he prepared baby oil. But these baby oil was found to be date rape drugs after testing. It's very bad. Diddy's going to prison for the rest of his life. But that's just one elementary school. And if it's like Ali Carter said, there should be middle and high schools, which the FBI hasn't found yet. I will bring you the latest update as soon as possible. Follow this page and check the comments for Part 7.
I saw Usher, Justin, Will, his son, LeBron. Well, I can tell you he has secret tunnels. Okay, you see JC, he's worse than Diddy.
Get ready to receive shocking inside information you've never heard before as we break down the viral second interview from Jonathan Adi that was just leaked, and it's going to talk about everything that goes on and what he's seen at Diddy parties. And some of the names he mentions will shock you. Now keep in mind, this is the second part, not the first one when he initially got arrested in 2018. As always, a legal disclaimer, this is just opinion, nothing in this video is fact. I'm just a guy reacting to stuff on the internet.
About Diddy's freak-out parties.
Okay, the parties, very extravagant, a lot of celebrities. They had drugs everywhere, a lot of top companies, top company CEOs there, Diddy's and his buddies, shared a lot of women, and even shared a lot of men.
Now, sure, we've heard a lot of guy-on-guy action being talked about at these Diddy's parties. Even someone saw Trey Songz kissing Diddy.
And they invited him to Diddy's room. He walks in. Trey Songz was sitting on Diddy's lap making out with him, and they asked him if he wanted to join.
What the?
No, ain't no way. Ain't no way.
They're all undercover. I promise you that. I promise you that.
Now, we don't know how many CEOs of companies were at these parties, but a ton of them stepped down as soon as Diddy was arrested. So you can make of that what you will.
I started getting reports about the type of things that would happen at these parties. I was hearing about illicit drugs. I was hearing about sexual escapades. I always have decisions to make about stories. And for a long time, when it came to things pertaining to Diddy, I wouldn't run certain things because I feared retribution. He felt and seemed like he was invincible.
Well, Diddy is now being accused of hanging one of his alleged victims over an apartment balcony. Let's get into some details on a little bit of a development, well, a pretty big development regarding Diddy. Make sure you hit that follow button so you don't miss out. Now, when the original charges were read for his indictment, at that time, the prosecutors said at the podium that they are not ruling out the possibility of a superseding indictment and additional charges. That came down today. So we're going to jump into what these new allegations are. A superseding indictment also, it just means that the original one that was filed, we're no longer considering that, only consider this version of the indictment. And they've added some details in there that are very interesting. So I want to go through the information. Make sure you hit that follow button, and also find me on other platforms like YouTube and Instagram under the exact same name. Now, here's one of the charges before I get into the balcony allegation. One of the things that they've added in here is they first extended the time frame as when they are including from a racketeering perspective. So they're saying the alleged racketeering conspiracy now lasted from 2004 to 2024. What was in the original filing was that the conspiracy, the racketeering stuff started in 2008. So they've added more time and extended the window. That's going to be change number one. Now, change number two is huge, you guys. They are alleging that they can confirm that there are now 2 additional victims. The first one only included victim number 1. The victims' names at this stage are not going to be provided. It's been wildly speculated based on the descriptions of what happened and timelines that victim number 1 was Cassie. Now they're saying it's victim number 1, victim number 2, and victim number 3. Now, here's another interesting piece. The prosecutors are saying that Combs used the power and prestige he wielded as a music mogul to intimidate, threaten, and lure women into his orbit, all under the pretense of a romantic relationship. From there, its indictment says that he used force, threats, and coercion to cause victims, including the 3 women, the victim 1, victim 2, victim 3, to engage in commercial acts between adults. It said that he subjected the victims to violence, allegedly, threats of violence, threats of financial and reputational harm, and verbal abuse. Now, this is where the balcony piece comes in. It says on one occasion, Combs threw both objects and people, as well as hit, dragged, and choked and shoved others. We saw the video, so we have an idea of what he's capable of here. On one occasion, Combs dangled a victim over an apartment balcony. At this time, the prosecutors have not named who that victim was that was hung over the balcony, so we don't yet know. Now, as a part of the conspiracy piece of the indictment, they've also added 2 additional drugs, saying that, that Diddy was allegedly in possession of multiple, including methamphetamines. Now, Diddy's legal team has adamantly denied these charges, and he has obviously pleaded not guilty. We've talked about that before. Now, his legal team, essentially what they're saying is they're not saying that none of this happened, but what they are saying is that you're looking at something that was happening between consenting adults. That's what they're kind of underscoring here, and that there's no evidence, even on the videos that they've watched, if there's any coercion, any threats, etc. As I've mentioned in one of my previous videos, when you hit record may not necessarily be when the threats and the coercion is happening, right? That could have happened before or even after they hit record. So it's an interesting angle that they're taking, but they are, of course, maintaining his innocence. Now, as I've already mentioned, that his trial is set to start in May. We will just have to see if that date holds true. May the 5th, 2025 is supposed to be opening arguments. And of course, if that changes, I will bring that to you. But let's get into the comments. What do you guys think about these 2 additional victims? And who do you speculate was held over a balcony? Because that's giving Vanilla Ice. Let's get into it.
Then they bring me to the back room. And in the back room, they have this long table with a white sheet set out. I mean, beautiful thing. Look like the damn Last Supper. On one end is Derek Jeter. There's Stephon Marbury. It's not that the rapper. That's not it. That's a misconception. What it is, it's about control. See, that's what makes it, that's why you see, like, wow, Jamie Foxx, you would say that? Because they're in a bind, because see, Jay-Z's not, but once you reach a certain level, you have to give something up. There's something that you're going to give up because you got to be down with that crew. And how do I know? Because it happened to me. That is why I'm standing here talking right now. I reached a certain level in that station. What I'm saying, what's happened is it was passed down to to everyone in the urban industry. So now you have a rapper who will get turned out by a high-ranking label exec because, well, what you gonna do? I mean, if I want to be a rapper and I walk in and the label exec tells me that this is what I need to do for him because, hey, he put my album on when I really wasn't that talented, but they pushed me because they saw that I was something that they could sell. So when you bring me in a room and there's my favorite rapper right there who's in the same room, so that must mean he must have committed the same act as I did. So at the end of the day, depending on where your level is within yourself, you go do it. And it's easy for those of us to sit back and say we wouldn't do it. But the majority of us will never fulfill our dreams. So we'll never be in a position to say what we would or would not do. You understand what I'm saying? We'll never be in that position. Because before I got there, I would say the same thing until I got there. You understand? So I literally lived the devil taking me to the mountain and saying, you can go to the left, you have all of this. And I was there. It was ritualistically done. 3 straight weekends. They do everything in 3s. 3 weekends in a row. Hey, D-Brad, let's go hang out. And every weekend, he kept beating me in the head. Get rid of this Rap City, man. You can do more than Rap City, D-Brad. You can do more than you need to come with us. We go to the joint, we hanging in VIP. Get me everything I want. Then every time we hung out, it was the same way. Then they bring me to the back room. And in the back room, they have this long table with a white sheet set out. I mean, beautiful thing. Look like the damn Last Supper. On one end is Derek Jeter. There's Stephon Marbury. I'm trying to talk to the model chicks. He's like, nah, D-Brad, come on, sit right here. We get inside the limo. We're in the car. The man standing across looking at me like I owe him something now. And while he's doing that, he's sitting there with his legs spread open, rubbing his. Now, I'm in a situation where I'm like, no, what am I going to do for me? So for me, I had to turn that away. But what the hell that I caught after that, I've been homeless. I've had my name destroyed. I was ashamed of myself. I went from being a man to nothing because I would not cross over.
I remember one time telling them, I can understand you having a problem with one person, but when you have a problem with every woman you're dealing with, then you gotta look into yourself.
So certainly now we know that there were signs of some of the abuse he would be accused of later. It seemed that because there were never any real consequences for him, his behavior escalated.
P. Diddy and Caitlyn Jenner. Caitlyn Jenner is also in the case. That ain't no surprise. Remember, they went to celebrate P. Diddy's 50th birthday. I don't know how old is he now. And he celebrated with the Kardashians. Remember, for Halloween, P. Diddy made Kim Kardashian stay. Had her dress as one of the X-Men's while he played as the Joker. I don't know if you guys remember that. And he had Caitlyn Jenner. Not a surprise with that. That man is going down. They already have the documentary, The Fall of Diddy. And all these allegations and things that is coming out, it is to be true. This man is going down. Caitlyn Jenner? I am not even surprised and shocked. And Caitlyn Jenner has tapes. There's tapes out there. She have, oh my Lord. Caitlyn Jenner got tapes. I'm talking about the man, which is a woman now. She has tapes out. I don't know if it's tapes with her and P. Diddy, but she has tapes with guys. Yo, what goes on in these industries, I don't even want to know half the time. But these things are real. What they be doing is crazy. These Diddy parties be wild. And Caitlyn Jenner has been in them. Caitlyn Jenner has been in them. Oh man, the Kardashians is in it too. There's a reason why they quiet. There's a reason why they're quiet. There's a reason why Caitlyn Jenner is speaking out right now. I don't know if you guys been seeing it, but she's speaking out at the White House. She just recently did it. Yo, these celebrities are falling. They're crumbling. And my God, I'll be glad when it falls completely, because this is out of hand.
It looks like the Kardashians aren't the only ones going down if Diddy gets prosecuted for his crime. Now, Caitlyn Jenner might go down with him too, considering that she was as close to the rap mogul as her family is. Okay, so those Kardashians are known for hogging the spotlight. Now, surprisingly, they all been scrambling to cut off ties with Diddy since the allegations and raid. And Kris Jenner, the matriarch of the family, is nowhere to be found neither.
Anybody else?
Okay, check this out. Kris Jenner is off the radar running from the raids. Now, she ain't had no media appearance since the raid. Now, tapes recovered from Diddy's mansion show that Kris Jenner is linked to the crimes alleged against the diddler.
Every 5 minutes, every 5 seconds.
Would you ever be asked to bring things to Diddy during a Wild King night while it was ongoing?
Yeah, for sure.
Phil, I need some Cialis. Give me 20 Xanax, please. Hey, Phil, I need a plan B. I need 10 Adderall. The mushroom capsules, the microdose. Bring it out to me, please.
What would you see when you would go into the room?
There wouldn't be anything happening while you were walking into the room.
But there would be people there.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about who the guests were?
A lot of times there was girls who were a little bit under the radar that didn't have a lot of influence. I think that speaks to the type of situations people were put in. You know, a lot of times you have him with a younger female. There's a power dynamic there. A more impressionable girl is easier to reel in as opposed to somebody who might be a celebrity who's not gonna really do too much of that or kind of give some pushback.
How old when you say young?
20s.
So in terms of the criminal charges that Diddy is facing, his team has said he didn't break any laws. These were all consenting adults. The fact that he is facing criminal charges for this shows that the government is sexist and puritanical and uptight, and he was just partying. These were all consenting adults. What do you make of that argument? Was he just partying like a rap star, or do you believe that there were laws that were broken?
Look, there's partying and then there's party.
Right.
And in my experience, I wasn't in these rooms while these things were happening. Consent is between the people that are engaging, and I wasn't there in these situations to understand the consent. There was guests that would frequently come over and participate in these intimate situations. Sometimes you would see new faces. Sometimes you see new faces come in and you wouldn't see them again. I remember a time when Diddy told me to come up and grab one of his guests' bags, take her down in the car and drive her to her hotel. I don't know what took place. All I can say is that when I had brought her down to the car, she was shaking. Visibly shaken.
Are we finally going to see the Diddy and Epstein lists? As a lot of y'all are well aware, Trump made the decision to declassify the RFK, MLK, and JFK files to add more transparency over some of the most scrutinized events in American history. And in the interest of transparency, a lot of people, both civilian and government officials, are calling on Trump to release both Diddy and Epstein files. Now, Diddy's a little bit easier because we were told that on March 7th, or by March 7th, that prosecutors will release all of the co-conspirators' names regarding Diddy. But we've been waiting for a long time for Epstein's files. Now, regarding Diddy, with that March 7th deadline quickly approaching, I imagine that in a little bit more than a month, we'll probably know who most of those co-conspirators are. Epstein's a little bit more difficult, though, because that would include flight logs in Ghislaine Maxwell's Little Black Book. Now, at this point, Trump has not said whether or not he's going to release either one of these, but there is mounting pressure for him to be more transparent on these lists, especially with everything else coming out. Now, I, for one, would be very interested in seeing what's on both of those lists. Now, in the event that these do come out and you don't already follow me, please hit that follow button, because as soon, and if they do, I'll be on here really quickly talking about them. Also, drop your thoughts about this in the comments, and as always, if you don't follow me on other platforms, please do so in case this all goes away.
Sean Combs is a monster. I want to speak about this now because I've witnessed everything.
I think Sean Combs can get away with anything.
I've known Sean since he was 4 years old. That's my little bro.
He already knew what he wanted. I could be your manager, just give me a chance.
I went to a lot of Puffy parties. These were the parties that you needed exclusive access to get into.
He thought that if people fear him, they respect him.
Honestly, I didn't want to be around him unless there was cameras.
Nobody's shooting me. Nobody's shooting me. Nobody's shooting me.
When Puff was around, it was like, uh-oh, get it together or this could be over.
You got me acting crazy in front of all these people.
Something is not right with this.
I've been with Sean for quite a while, and I've captured a lot of moments. Anytime with the studio or any rooms is red, is making love and sex. Some of the ones who went in the room, for sure they were underage.
They said they could ship me off and sell me to anyone.
How did this superstar music mogul become an alleged monster?
And I can show you how we have fun and stay out of jail, too.
I walked in the studio and seen two powerful men doing things that was uncomfortable to my eyes. And that's that. So you can take it how you want it. There you have it. My daddy told me to say that. My daddy said, make sure you let it be known that my pa, free my daddy. He said, you make sure you let it be known if you seen something uncomfortable with your eyes, you dig? That man left you down bad. You got shot. I got fucking shot. I went through a lot. I couldn't even feed my family. Yeah, fucking right, that nigga gay. Uncomfortable with my eyes. Fucking right. Yes, he's gay. Okay, but I don't think someone being gay is bad. And that's the thing. I don't think someone being gay is like a curse. If that's their preference, then say, bro, that's their preference. Now, you ask me, did he do anything left field? And that's why I gave the answer. Yes, I seen things when I walked in the studio that was uncomfortable to my eyes with another powerful person in the music business. And that's just that.
What was your reaction and what was his reaction when you caught him?
I opened the door, I seen what I seen, and I hurried up and slammed the door. And ever since then, Ron was treating me nice. That's how I was. Fuck, I couldn't get Lil Daddy, the Lil Daddy video. I couldn't get the Lil Daddy video shot for nothing. You heard me? I'm talking about for nothing. But after that happened, I went back home to New Orleans and we were shooting Lil Daddy. As a matter of fact, we shot Lil Daddy, my solo Lil Daddy, and we shot the remix with Wayne and Jody Breeze the same day. How you love that?
I've been quiet for 18 years.
I am absolutely nervous sharing what I've seen.
I can no longer just remain silent.
This is where I'm supposed to be.
Sean Diddy Combs facing a slew of allegations.
The biggest question for me was, has this happened before?
It is hard to overstate how important the Puff sound was to the 90s.
The thing about hip-hop, it's not just a music, it's a lifestyle.
But then
There was the other side.
We did not realize the extent of the darkness.
Eventually, he's going to be shown to be innocent and will fight every day.
There just seems so much more to the story.
The truth will always find its way, even in the dark.
She has knots on her head. It was horrific.
He said, sometimes you just gotta let these hoes know who the boss is.
I see them both holding guns.
I'm fighting for my life. He said, I'm Puff Daddy. I'll eat your face off.
I always believed that I was the only victim.
Why did I put this on myself?
It's a lot of people like Puffy in this music business. Exposing Puffy means exposing them.
will be exposed.
I mean, when I walk in, I definitely take pride in being the originator of the preparation of the sex. Little things that I personally like. A lot of ladies, they just, so you have, if you don't have what they need, they're gonna leave. Right. Gotta keep them there. Right. You need locks on the doors.
P. Diddy be wanting the body. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. All of these big deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is.
Said to me, take your clothes off. And I said no. And I left. And they told me they were gonna burn all my music. And they didn't stop. They didn't stop asking me, and then I just froze and I don't even remember. And I will not say his name. I understand this Me Too movement. I understand that some people feel really comfortable with this, and I do not. I do not ever want to face that person again.
TMZ just released a new Diddy documentary, The Downfall of Diddy Inside the Freak-Offs, and I just watched it all, so let's talk about it. We have to start this out with Ray J himself and what he had to say on this documentary. Ray J was so back and forth in this documentary, I literally about lost my mind. So they asked him if he ever attended freak-offs, and he said no, and just wait till you hear his response.
Have you been to these freak-offs ever?
I've never freaked off. I've never been to any freak-off with any of my friends. Because I like freaking off in front of people. That's just not my thing. I don't go to freak-offs because I don't freak off like that. Now, I can't say other people I don't know are freaks. Were they at the freak-offs? I hope not. I hope not. That's a very freaky question, Harvey. I don't know. Never got the invite. So, is this shit really real? Are these freak-offs really real? Because now I'm starting to think this shit fake. Now I'm starting to think all this shit fabricated.
After we hear Ray J questioning if the freak-offs were real and saying that he was never even invited to a freak-off, later in this documentary, he says that famous people come to him and they tell him what they have done with Diddy at these freak-off parties. Ray J literally gets on my nerves. I can't help to think that he's literally just a clout chaser, because in this documentary, he's literally all over the place. He is sticking up for Diddy, but then also saying that people are coming to him, telling him these crazy things that they did at freak-off parties because they trust in him. Like, boy, stop playing. Also had Stevie J on this documentary, who said that he has never participated in the freak-offs, but he doesn't know what Diddy does in his private time, because he said that that is his business and he's just waiting for the truth to come out, and basically we'll see. I find this hilarious that now he's saying he doesn't know what Diddy does in his bedroom, because he would go to his bedroom and Diddy would go to his bedroom and that's all his business, so he doesn't know. When really Stevie J was quite vocal about Diddy not doing any of these crazy things and a Diddy party not being like this when all of this shit first started to go down. Now Stevie J, where is this same energy? Tania Wallace was also on this documentary talking about her time at a Diddy party and how she saw minors at this party. The TMZ executive producer said that they also talked with a worker that worked for Diddy, who also has already talked to the feds. And this worker showed TMZ a video that was recorded with him, Diddy, and another female. They also talked to Tony Busby, who is a lawyer who represents 120 plus people against Diddy. And he talked about how some of these people were minors when some of this stuff happened, how he vets the information before he takes on his clients, and also talked about how there are celebrities that are going to be named in lawsuits with Diddy, but some of these celebrities have already paid off these victims to keep their silence. They also had Lisa Bloom, the attorney from Dawn Richard of Dirty Money, who filed a lawsuit against Diddy for multiple different things. And she spoke out exactly what this lawsuit was all about and different things that we are seeing happening with Diddy. I enjoyed this documentary a lot, so definitely go check it out today. The Downfall of Diddy Inside the Freak-Offs, that is on Tubi right now. And let me know what you guys think about it in the comments.
My name is Tania Wallace. I am a singer-songwriter, and I was at I believe to be one of P. Diddy's freak-offs. 2018, I went to this freak-off. I looked to the right of me, and in the corner, I'm looking like, are those midgets? Because people were it's people over them, like it's people trying to hide what they're doing. They're all huddled up. So I'm like, what is that? But no, they weren't. They were little people. And, I don't want to say too much. They were little people. So use your common sense. Dressed up like little Harajuku Barbies, red lipstick, looking like real sexy, revealing like cute. So I'm like, what the hell?
What were the little people doing?
Getting covered up, trying to cover up what they were doing. Just, I don't know, like being admired, being hid, something. But it's like, what are they doing here? Because this is a grown party.
Are you talking about adults who are little people, or are you talking about minors?
Am I gonna get in trouble? I don't want to say I witnessed any of that crazy stuff, but we all have common sense. Little people that's not supposed to be there.
You're talking about underage people.
It's a shame.
He came out and he said, yo, get this bitch out my house. And then he told me, he said, yo, take her over to the London hotel. She was crying, her hair was crazy. You could tell that she had been beat up because of some of the swellness on her face.
I'm Bill Cosby, and you take care of yourself.
He does this routine, which now seems like it might have been a red flag.
You put some in her drink, man. You see 5 girls standing alone. Boy, if I had a whole jug of Spanish fly, I'd light that corner up over there.
Bill Cosby was still telling Spanish fly jokes more than 20 years later. This is from 1991.
Spanish fly.
We knew what it was.
Spanish fly was the thing that all boys from age 11 on up to death, we will still be searching for Spanish fly.
That's right.
And what was the old story was, if you took a little drop, no, it was on the head of a pin.
Why does he know the dosage?
On the head of a pin.
Oh, the famous Larry King live clip. A lot of you have seen it. But did you know that he was there promoting his book, Childhood? And Childhood has an entire chapter about Spanish fly? And Spanish fly is mentioned in the book 15 times.
And you put it in the drink.
Coca-Cola, don't matter.
It doesn't make it, and the girl would drink it, and hello, America.
And he's on Larry King Live, talking about the Spanish fly. You just got to put it just as a pin, just the head of a pin, and oh boy, God bless America. Whoa.
There was this narrative that had always been there in the undercurrent of his comedy about women.
From almost day one was telling us that he was willing to and didn't think anything was strange about putting things in women's drinks to get them to do what he wanted them to do. So when we fast forward, it's not a huge leap to think that what Cosby was talking about in the 60s, he was doing.
Diddy went wrong when he went against that liquor company, and he demanded that for all of his evil deeds, he finally be considered an equal partner. He forgot his skin color. You know, it doesn't matter how many white men you lay with, you're still black in America. And you don't get to call those boys out. See, people aren't really looking at when Diddy's troubles started happening. He became vulnerable with that lawsuit with that liquor company when he demanded an equal share. Kind of like how when Bill Cosby, after all the money he made for NBC, he demanded his equal share. And then here come all the stories and all the lawsuits. It's always the same game. They don't do anyone different. You step out of line, they wrap your hand. I think what the elites really didn't count on is that once they wrapped his hand, that he was going to be there to gouge him on the side. Because people have been waiting for Diddy. They've been waiting for their piece. And then you have the opportunist, like your so-called best friend, who has like this odd habit of making friends and making memories and making money and making victims with people, and just keeps on sliding away in their demise and then assuming all of their power and control. And I'm talking about Mr. Carter. Mr. Carter has been very not so a good friend in the diddler's downfall. He's been very delinquent. And now all of a sudden he's demanding in-person visits and he can't get them. I wonder why. Sean Combs and Sean Carter are both government informants and have been. They know they do these things. They know they've been doing these things. See, they were just never supposed to get caught out loud where they, the police can't just cover it all up. See,